Good evening, everybody. Today is February 24th at 7 o'clock, and this is the Deep River Board of Finance meeting. So we'll start with a roll call. I know Kathy Russell is not here. Carmela?
Here.
Jackie Calamari is not here. I'm here. Barry? Here. And Mike? Here. Okay, we have 4 out of 6, so we do have a quorum. Okay. First on the agenda is approving the minutes from our regular January 27th meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second from Carmela?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Against? Okay, that passed. All right, we also have our approval of minutes for February 10th and February 7th budget workshops. So do I have a motion for both of those?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, those passed. All right, next on our agenda is audience and citizens. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak at this point about anything that's not on the agenda? Okay. All right, next up is our treasurer's report. Tom is, I think he had a tooth extracted actually, so he's kind of out of commission tonight. He did send in his report, and he sent it out in an email. I'm happy to go through it, and if I miss anything, just let me know. Okay. Okay, so on Tom's report, February 24th, this month, the balance from the general fund is $10,077,000, less the reserve of the capital improvements of $470,000, so the adjusted balance is $4,606,000. Last month, it was $6,978,000, so quite a jump, and obviously this is tax season, everybody paying their bills, so it went from 6,978 to 9,606. Rate changes, let's see here. Liberty Bank, no change in their rate. They're still at 4%. Ascend Bank, there's no change as of the last meeting, but they're at 3.5%. Capital improvements borrowed, we borrowed $1.4 million, and we dispersed $954,470 remaining. And Paula was investigating that. Any updates on that, or still in
Yeah, I
process?
believe like 330 is coming out of there. Yeah.
Is that we spent and it's got to be
Yeah,
assigned?
it just got, yep. it just
Okay.
got taken over.
So you're still in progress? though?
Yes. Do you have another one? Okay.
All right, ARPA funds, we started with $1,314,000, and total distributed $1,119,000. The remaining is $194,000, and I believe we have until the end of this year for that. So I think we're on track there. Wire transfers, since our last meeting, we had one on 128, $2 million from Citizens Bank to Liberty Bank money market. One on 2226, $700,000 from Citizens Bank to Liberty money market. And then one on 217 for $500,000 Liberty Bank money market to Citizens Bank. Total of $3.2 million of wire transfers in the past since our last meeting. Educational equalization grant, fiscal year 25 to 26, $1,654,000. We received 2 installments of 413 and 413, and the third installment is coming in the end of April. So all good there. Let's see, total balances. Okay, this is just a summary of all the total balances that I just talked about. We started at $11,914,000 and we ended at $11,248,000. Am I reading that backwards? Is it the other way around? How does he have this read, you know?
Let me see. So under 7?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, because we actually went up. I think I said that backwards. We started at $11,248,000 and we ended at $11,914,000.
restricted.
Okay, all right, I understand how I'm reading this now, yeah, that's after the restricted.
Yep.
So that's this month, last month it was 8,617,000.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Short-term investment update, what do we have here? Okay, this is how much interest we're earning. So budgeted amount of 150,000. Year to date, we've earned 154,000. So we're favorable, and obviously we still have a few months to go in this fiscal year. So we're doing very good on the interest that we're earning on our cash. Bond payments, I won't go through each one of these, but in detail. But sewer construction bond originally $3.3 million. The remaining balance is $33,000. That will be paid off in the next payment, next two payments. Capital improvements, Dime Bank. Let's see, original principal of $1,425,000. Remaining balance $1,045,000, and the maturity on that one is 8/15/2036. The energy update bond, $282,000. The remaining balance is $112,000, and the maturity date on that is 8/15/29. I believe that's the last of the bonds. Any question on Tom's treasury report? All right. I'm sure he does a better job, but that's okay. Next on the agenda is recommendations of selectmen and actions on recommendations. Cheryl?
Well, we didn't have our meeting earlier tonight, so basically I talked to the town crew and we're looking into either purchasing or going out to RFP, something for sidewalk clearing, because the machine we have now is old, kind of breaking down a lot, and it's not really doing the job on the state highway. The snow plows from the state are really dumping things in quite a large quantity, and it's very hard at that point, so our machine gets clogged up pretty easy, and we really need something a little bigger to do the sidewalks. So kind of like investigating a couple things, like maybe purchasing a Bobcat or something like that, or going out to RFP, like I said, to have an outside contractor doing it. So we'll report more on the next meeting or whatever.
Okay. Anything else?
No, don't want to talk about
Okay.
that. No.
Okay, good for now. All right, the next item is update on anticipated financing for the fire truck, the brush truck, and the firehouse. So I don't have any update on the brush truck and the fire truck. I believe the brush truck was pushed out till April, and the fire truck was pushed up to August. So our financing was pushed out also, so we're lining up the financing with the need for the fire truck and the brush truck. So that's all still on track, unless you guys know something else about the fire truck or brush truck.
No, you're on track.
Okay. And then the firehouse status, the last status I had was that you guys were going out for RFPs, and you were going to be selecting an engineering architectural firm. I don't know if you have any new update that you'd like to add while you're here.
Interviews are the 3rd and 5th.
Yeah, next Tuesday and Thursday.
We're interviewing four companies?
Yeah, I think we got 9
Yep.
responses back, and we selected 4 for the short list. So we'll interview 2 on Tuesday and 2 on Thursday.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, great. Thank you for that help. And now we're moving on to budget items. We've slid in some budget workshop items into this agenda. The first one is the fire department, and who's going to be presenting for the fire department.
Yeah, I have a couple of problems with this.
I will.
So,
Did you get yeah, you have the
Yeah.
budget.
yeah, so everybody had an email. I did make a few copies for if somebody forgot to make a copy. Right. Anyone else need one?
Is it just that Excel?
Yeah.
Or was there a description? No, I copied I printed the Excel sheet, so, okay.
Okay. All right, you're on.
Adam, you're probably better off, you're probably better off explaining the,
Can we go through the line?
yeah, the line items than I am.
Okay. I'm gonna take, keep me honest here, Dave, kind of a different tack. I had prepared a kind of a rundown, so with an update as far as where we stand on some of the line items too. Just recognizing as you guys go through and look at maybe what was spent or what's already allocated this year, you know, we should be, what, 70% through the budget or so by now, roughly. And there's a few of our lines that aren't, or aren't close to that. And so I just wanted to at least provide you some context on what's pending and what we're anticipating before the end of the year, as you kind of go through your decision process. So,
Before you
Yeah.
start, I usually say this at the beginning of every budget meeting. This is an informational session, back and forth questions,
Yeah.
answers, no decisions made today.
Yeah, of course.
So just so everybody knows.
So again, just reporting on the line items that we have control over, right? Because there's some that are just set through this group and through town hall. So physicals, that line item is right now proposed to stay the same. We did make some changes over this past year and a half, where we are using a different medical provider with a much better service for our members, much more comprehensive physicals, and getting really what we should be getting for our members. It's an important service for them. Not only is it regulatory required, but it's important that we get it done right and our members get the most out of it. So that does carry additional costs, so this has gone up over the past couple of years. We built that up. We're still figuring it out, but we seem to be okay with that 7,000. We do have numerous physicals coming due in Q1 and Q2. Usually the beginning of the year is when we start pushing our members to get their annual physicals. So these are required for all of our respiratory qualified members, to be done every year basically, and additional requirements for other members as well. So for CDL drivers, and other members, so there are annual requirements for most of our members. So, but that is right now proposed to stay the same. Training line item is proposed to stay the same. And actually I forgot to mention on physicals, there is about $1,700 pending right now that's either sitting on my desk or have been submitted for payment. In addition to the 2161 that I showed as of Paula's last readout to me a few weeks ago, right, Paula?
We're at 2301 now. Yeah.
So if you looked at the current reports, yeah, that'd be about where we're at, so. Training, we appropriated 9,000 for this year, we're keeping that flat. Year-to-date spend, I show 1761 plus an additional 900 that's pending. We have a firefighter that's currently enrolled in firefighter 2, so that will eat up around $1,100 to $1,200. We also have some training equipment that we're looking to purchase, some rescue mannequins that we use for training, and also looking to schedule a couple classes where we're going to need to use outside consultants to do that. So that 9,000 will easily get spent up this year. So again, proposing that stay flat. Water well management will get spent. That's something that will get done in the spring, if it ever comes. Operating expenses.
Just from my understanding,
Yeah.
what is water hole maintenance?
So we have hydrants around Main Street, right, and going down towards the railroad tracks and up towards Route 9. Anything beyond Route 9, basically, we're into drafting water out of ponds, out
Okay.
of tanks.
I understand.
Those ponds, those drafting sites, so like if you go up the driveway to JW, one of those is actually out of service. There's a pipe sticking out of the ground, so sometimes we have those as an option, so we can draft out of those.
Okay.
If there is a fire anywhere in those areas of town, or we have areas like up by the pizza place in Winthrop, there's a pond there that's a sort of a
Okay.
registered drafting site for us, and we need to dig them out, we need to clear them out periodically to make sure they're available.
Got it. Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. Operating expenses, so this year we've got 32,000. We are requesting an increase of 3,000 there, going to 35,000. Right now I'm showing 20,000, give or take, spent. There's another 2,500 or so pending. We are gonna eat a lot more of that up with plowing, as you can imagine. Also fuel, we've got some, bill coming in for station dashboards that we use, electronic dashboards. That's north of $1,000. We also are starting to rotate, or gonna have to start rotating in our SCBA cylinders that require hydro testing. So it's like pressure testing them every 5 years. They have a 15-year lifespan. So throughout that 15 years, every 5 years, we're required to actually test them and get them recertified. And those are coming due. So we're gonna have to start using some of the operating funding to fund that testing cycle as well. So that will easily get spent, and then that additional funding will help us move forward with some of that regular testing as well. Miscellaneous building supplies, holding that as flat, appropriated $9,000 right now, so we would look for $9,000 for the coming year. Year-to-date spent, about $2,000, and then I've got another $3,000 pending. So leaving us around $4,000. We do have some work that we need to get done at headquarters, a new air conditioner, for our office area that dies every year. Office supplies, we need a couple laptops and then some kitchen equipment, most likely, so that will get spent up, and then potentially some overruns from operating if we need to. Fire equipment and supplies, $29,000 right now. We bumped that up a little bit to $30,000. This is one that we do have a number of pending purchases coming forward. We've been working towards, you'll see it in our capital plan, trying to start our turnout gear replacements. Our turnout gear times out after 10 years. So it's actually we're estimating about $4,000 a pop for just the gear. That's basically the coat and the pants. And then you've got helmets, you've got boots, you've got gloves and everything else. So NFPA, who regulates our turnout gear, set the standard at 10 years. No matter what condition it's in, it needs to be replaced for interior structural firefighting. So as you can imagine, we need to continually rotate that. So right now, we're looking at up to about $16,000 that we're going to need to spend in this cycle for turnout gear, and then also possibly about $4,500 for some new electric chainsaws.
And just to clarify, the gear, after the 10 years, we still, that will go to members that might not want to be interior firefighters. So fire ground support, people like that we still use that gear for that. With anybody that's a, certified interior firefighter, their gear has to be swapped out at 10 years. So it doesn't, not all the gear gets tossed at 10. We still recycle it. It'll go down to the junior members and stuff like that. We take it as far as we can.
Good.
Good point. Yeah, we have a stock that we keep at, our chief engineer keeps at headquarters, so. Vehicle maintenance is at $60,000 for this cycle. We bumped that to $65,000 going forward, so requesting $5,000. Right now, I'm showing $10,000 year-to-date spent in the system. I've got $16,000 in receipts that just came to me yesterday for annual maintenance on 3 of our apparatus, so that process has started. And we still have pending another engine, our ladder truck for annual maintenance, our ladder truck annual certification that's required. We also have a repair that they're doing while the ladder truck is out of service, so they're actually doing the annual service while they're still doing the repairs.
Refresh my memory. So about, 3 months ago when we had the major repairs, was it on the ladder truck?
Yeah.
And
It's
is
still
that
out.
still out there in the garage?
It's
Okay.
still out, yeah.
So have we gotten any invoices, or did we make any payments, or are we still waiting for it to be finished?
We're still waiting. The feedback from the vendor is that there were no surprises. Correct me if I'm wrong. So our chief engineer has been in constant contact with the vendor. So no surprises. It should be back at their shop, I believe now, after getting put back together and starting some of the testing and the adjustments for the suspension and those types of things. So far so good with that repair. But while they have it, we're gonna have them do the annual maintenance while it's there, and they're gonna do the annual certification, and they're also repairing. This will be additional that we'll cover under vehicle maintenance. There's a electrical issue with one of our controller systems for the tower itself, for the remote that goes to it. So there's gonna be some expenditure there with those annual maintenances and the ladder. And then whatever is left, we need to start replacing tires. And those are about $1,000 a piece. So per tire, and you can multiply that by how many are on each truck. So we're looking at anywhere from 6 to 12 this year to start that process. So that funding will go this year, and then the additional funding will, again, start the process for replacing tires next year.
Yeah. And any idea, are we going to be able to cover that ladder cost within this year's budget?
That's the plan, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're not hearing anything that's going to shoot
We're
it
not.
up higher?
We're not, no, again, we've got, we do have funding, obviously, when we look at the line item for vehicle maintenance, there's money left in there, but it's gonna go.
Okay.
So, and then again, we gotta start looking at tires, going forward, and try to get done what we can this year, and keep going next year, and kind of beyond that, so.
Got it.
We'll have a period of rest, maybe, on tires, but we do have an aging fleet, so, as you can imagine, those are gonna need to continue to be swapped out. And then communications, holding flat, that's $8,000. We do have some, and then another, I don't have anything pending on that, but we do have some pending purchases coming up, around pagers, potential for vehicle repeaters and portables, so that money will get utilized going forward as well. Miss anything? Dave, Tim? Okay.
There's just one line item called personal losses, and it's just $400. I don't know what that is, but that's...
That was intended to be able to reimburse a member if they had a pair of glasses get damaged at a fire scene, personal equipment. I mean, we use our personal vehicles, we use a lot of our own personal stuff, right?
Yeah, so that pretty much just stays
So it
the
just kind of holds true. So if we had to reimburse them because they had to go get a new pair of glasses, we could at least take care of it for them, and have a little bit of a fund there, yeah.
And then it looks like there's a line item contingency.
That's not theirs, that
That's
will
not-
be moved.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the question I was going to ask.
Dave, you would want to, you're going to talk about the,
CapEx.
no, our normal operating budget.
Oh, yeah,
As far as the next thing that we wanted to talk about is, we're looking for some administrative help for the fire department. And what this is all the forms and the documentation that the state requires for every incident that we go to. There's forms that have to get filled out for the members, all that. There's just a lot of time that the chief and the deputy chief have to spend filling out documentation. And there's really not enough time for it to do all of that, as well as having your own personal job, as well as managing the fire department. So what we did is, what I did is, I looked at about a dozen neighboring towns, similar size, that have volunteer fire departments. Ourselves, including Chester, Clinton, Durham, Essex, Guilford, Haddam, Killingworth, Madison, Middlefield, Old Lyme, Old Saybrook, and Westbrook. And looking at these, all of them, except Durham, have a part-time admin. And I could hand this over to you. I made a kind of a spreadsheet that goes through it. And it ranges from, some of them are, 10 hours a week. Some of them are a full-time person plus another half-time person. The full-time and the half-time is for a bigger town like Guilford that has a mix of a paid department and a volunteer. But most of the towns have some measure of admin assistant support. It's paid for by the town, and that's kind of what we're looking for. Somewhere around 15 hours a week, just something to give 15, 20 hours a week, whatever we can handle, to allow the chief and deputy chief not to have to spend so much of their personal time doing administrative work that's deemed necessary by the state.
How much do you think an hourly this person would,
That would be up to you guys, whatever you pay for
Yeah,
part-time.
I put $25 just for data point. So 15 hours, $25 an hour, 52 weeks a year, 19,500.
So something to think about also is that our clerical for the note-taking for our commission meetings has retired, which Carol's aware of. So maybe this higher, I mean, you already have a line there for that, maybe that could be increased, and it's, the same person could be there for the commission meetings to take those notes, but also help us with this other stuff. You know, Adam and I find ourselves, it's unfortunate, but we end up finding ourselves a lot of times on training nights, one or both of us upstairs, trying to get caught up on stuff, and we're not down participating in the training, which is not good. So we really want to really need to get that additional help. It's a lot. As Dave said, after his research, I mean, even Haddam, and Haddam does not do, the ambulance in Haddam is a separate organization, and Haddam has a full-time person up there. I mean, we are far from needing a full-time person, but we do need some help to alleviate some of this, extra burden that's put on all of us as officers.
And if you look at probably the closest similar town to here, which would be Chester, about the same size as ours, they have a part-time admin help at 30 hours a week. We're not asking for that, but, even half that, 15 hours a week would be a big help to.
And in all fairness and true transparency, the Chester Hose Company also runs the ambulance. So that in itself drives needing somebody because they're billing, right? But on top of all of that, that person is also doing the stuff that we're talking about, so.
Okay, very good. Any questions on the expense budget?
Well, I have a question, if I'm allowed to speak, since it's your meeting.
Yeah, no, of course.
I just was curious, and I've asked a few people, and the operating expenses. So I noticed in the rest of the budget, the town has taken over, cutting the grass, we pay for the internet, for the phone, for all that, so your operating expenses, what does that include? Like, we're doing the electrical, we're doing water, that comes all out of my lines on selectmen, So could you just shed some light on, did you ever pay for that, and then did it get taken away, for
Well, we did
ease
used
of
to-
billing, or,
We used to have separate lines, I know for a fact, when I was doing, as deputy chief, when I was doing the bills, like oil was a separate line for that.
Yeah.
I think there was a line for utilities then, so it was not part of the
So the
operating.
town hall, pulled that all in under our umbrella.
Correct.
But, so what are you guys paying for, what comes out of your operating, that line?
Adam can tell you that, 'cause that's what he's doing.
Yep, so things like what I mentioned with the SCBA bottles getting hydro tested. Our SCBA filling station has to get tested every quarter, has to get tested annually. They have to send out air tests. And I can kind of run through some of the other ones.
You mentioned fuel.
What's that?
You mentioned fuel.
So fuel more so around the fuel that we put into our tools, but that's not cheap. So we use the tool fuel,
Yeah.
so the ethanol free, so that improves reliability, cuts down on maintenance costs. So there is an expense there. Adams Supermarket, so when we stock the firehouse with water, when we need food for the firehouse, we had work done on the doors, so Precision Lock and Safe, Verizon Wireless. We are paying for our electronic iPads. Any work that gets done on our equipment, so if we have SCBA, any of our SCBA that goes out and gets repaired and comes back, that all gets covered under that. We've got all waste. We did have some electrical work that we paid for related to generator testing and servicing. What else?
What about plowing? Is that in here or not?
Plowing? Yep. So we had one bill recently for plowing for that last large storm that was just over $1,000.
Post testing, ladder testing now?
Post testing and ladder testing falls under operational, that's thousands of dollars. Our station, I call it our electronic management system, is $7,000. So that's all of our call reporting that we are required to do to the federal government. So every call has to get entered into an online system. This management system automatically pushes it to the federal government for us. It does all of our fire department pre-plans. So information on all the commercial structures in town, in addition to what we're offering now to the Community Connect, where people can go in and enter their own home data, special instructions, they have special needs people, they have people on oxygen, access restrictions, those types of things, all can get entered into that. The pre-plans get updated when I'm doing inspections on the fire marshal side. Those are available on our phones, on our tablets, so we can pull up all that information en route to a call, or while we're at a call, we can get pictures of the structure. If it's at night, we can track where our members are, so when we're responding as chiefs, our members can go in and say that they're responding to whichever station, so we know if there's drivers going. So all of that is wrapped into this one system. Truck checks, truck inventories is all in there. So there's a lot that that system provides us,
Yeah,
but it's
it kind of is
expensive,
like-
yeah.
I guess when I saw operating, I was thinking of the town, so the selectmen lines that I use, or, you know, for all the oil and, or, you know, I would think those are like operating, so that's why I was like,
Yeah.
just didn't know why things had all gotten pulled in. Did you guys ever used to do the maintenance, like cutting the grass? Because we've just started that, because the grass was getting
We
really,
always had, Jerry Clark Jr. did it for years and years
Okay.
and years.
because it kind of got a little
Charged in.
scruffy, and so then I just had field, you know, who was doing the rest of the town, kind of go down there and
Yeah.
okay, thank you. I was just,
Yeah, of
because no
course.
one really could tell me exactly what was in there.
To be- And, okay, is that anything else, Carol? Wow.
No, that was my big, I just.
Anyone else have any other questions? All right, let's move to the capital budget.
All right. So, we started with a 5-year CapEx budget, and then we tried to get a little bit of a further reach out, you know, going out towards 10 years to see some of the long-term planning, so just to see what's a little bit further out on the horizon. In the upcoming year, we have $22,000 for apparatus, corrosion and rust repair. The structural firefighting gear, that's what Evan was mentioning before, rather than waiting until it all times out, we're just trying to put in for 5 sets every year, right? And so, of course, that's going up every year. So if you look at it, every year there's a line item entry for it, and it's going up, you know, 28,000 this coming year, 29,000 the following year, 30,000 the year after that.
How many sets do you have of the qualified sets, you know, not the old sets? Do you-
So we have about 20, just north of 20 or so interior firefighters, 20 to 25. That's, you know, requires that swap out,
And it's a 10-year swap out
the
this
10-year swap out, yeah.
And it takes, what, 4 months, Adam,
Correct.
when someone gets sized, it's about 4 months out before you see that gear.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in the turnout gear industry right now as well, where they're pushing for all the turnout gear to be PFAS free as well. So a lot of that was included in the outer barriers. So there's added cost, of course, that's gonna be associated with that. A lot of the unions are pushing for it. And so there's continual change with materials and manufacturers and such too.
So out of curiosity, because 5 sets a year, that would say that in 4 years, you'd replace all 20, all right? So what, is that realistic, or are there some sets that are like fairly new?
We have some new sets that we just put in service, and then we also have sets that are getting ready to time out. So, and we also maintain some stock inventory of sets that are ready to go. So when we have a new member, we've been very fortunate to have new members come in that already have firefighter training. So once they hit their probationary period, they've got the certifications, we can put them right to work. So we do maintain some supply of spare sets after we have a fire. We have gear that needs to be washed, so we do, again, because of all the exposure and the cancer issues with the byproducts of combustion being on our gear, we encourage our members to leave their gear at the station, wash it, And we need spare gear to put them in so we can respond, because
Yeah.
Murphy's Law says there's gonna be another call.
So I'm getting at, if we did 5 sets a year for 4
Yep.
years, we would be in really good, we're not in an urgent situation.
No, correct.
And
Correct.
so there's a good chance we may not need another 5 next year, for instance, timing-wise.
Yeah, so again, we can do a deeper dive on it, and so like this year, we're looking at anywhere from 2 to 4 sets. We've got sets that we recycled that, the members, it's not the best fit for them, but it's interior qualified, and that's what they needed. So we wanna get them in gear that's actually fit for them. So it is tailored for each member.
Yep,
And
okay,
then some of it comes back and can't be used by anyone else for some time, because it's too small, too big, whatever, so
Gotcha.
there's some challenges there too. Yeah, yeah.
all right, we'll leave that at that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And just one note on the corrosion repairs too, just to add some commentary what Dave was mentioning. So 2 of the trucks that recently came back, including the rescue and one of the engines, they are noting corrosion issues on components like the air tanks for the braking systems, as well as some of the suspension systems. So what we don't want to end up in is another situation like the ladder truck, where we're forced to take it out of service, we can't plan for it, prepare for it, and it's beyond the point where it's gonna be out of service for so long, and then we're actually impacting our ability to protect the town. So while that ladder's out of service, that's gonna greatly increase response times, and has, for an outside ladder truck to come in from Essex, from Old Saybrook, from East Haddam. So we need to stay ahead of those corrosion repairs, so it's only out of service for a week or 2 to get repaired, and not for 2 or 3 months, because the whole suspension system has to get ripped out, frame has to get repaired, those types of things. So
Got it.
that is growing in importance.
All right, so I guess moving on, for this coming year, Winthrop Station needs some physical work. We'd like to get a new door put into the back of the firehouse. Now that the back there has been cleared out and people can park there, back there, this way you can kind of come into the firehouse in the back door without going, through the office. And so to cut a door where the window is right now, estimate that's about an $8,000 charge. And then in the overhang, there's some rotted trim repairs that need to be done, so we got $5,000 in for that. Continuing with the Winthrop Station the following year, we're looking at a roof replacement. So that's a bit more expensive, that's $27,000 for the 27-28 fiscal year. Going out another year after that, we have, the Winthrop Station also needs a new generator. So that's a couple of years out, and the estimated cost for that is around $55,000. And then,
Do you guys ever look at grants? I'm kind of getting up the learning curve on grants, and do you guys look at them? Have you had any success getting grants? Do you guys fill out the grant forms? Can you give me any education on that?
We do the grant work ourselves. A couple of our members have gone to training. Not formal grant training, so like a day class here and there, that type of stuff. There's much bigger grant training classes you can go to. We've had good experience with micro grants, a couple thousand here and there, water company, state of Connecticut forestry grants. Most of them are matching. And then again, some other micro grants. We worked tirelessly for many years on FEMA grants for apparatus to no avail. So I had good feedback from FEMA. The grants were spot on. They ran out of money on a couple of them, which was frustrating. But certainly open to any assistance that we could get with grant writers. I know the town hall has talked about that. I think there is some support here as well. But if we can leverage any grant writers that are supporting town hall, we'd love to talk to them. There are other grants that are available out there. Firehouse Subs, if anyone's heard of that company, make sandwiches, but started by fire department members, and they have a foundation that offers quite a bit of money to fire departments. We've gone for those grants a couple times. for, you know, $10,000-$15,000. So there are other grants out there, so if there's assistance available, that would be very helpful to us.
How many, you had no success with FEMA's, how many have you tried? I'm just curious. The reason I'm asking is I watched the video, and it's a complex process,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of
Yeah.
competition. So I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
Whereas we did the apparatus grants, I want to say 3 or 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where the apparatus that was getting awarded was going to cities. And it was very limited too, the number of grants that were being awarded for apparatus.
Yeah.
And then what was being awarded was going to cities where they're doing hundreds of runs a day.
Yeah.
And they beat up those trucks, they turn them over a lot quicker than we do. Those are 5 or 10 year trucks, some of those city engines. Or smaller towns in the middle of nowhere that had a dire need, right? Which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Not to say that our needs aren't real, we certainly have had those, and thankfully we're moving forward with some of that. But for the future, we'll be back into it when you look at our capital plan, so there may be some capability there to start thinking about grants for the apparatus there, whether it's the rescue truck or what have you. If we can do something to differentiate ourselves, it becomes an asset to the area, whatever that is, but again, that's where the assistance of a grant writer would definitely come in handy.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yep.
All right, so as we continue on, once you start getting out after 5 years, it becomes a little fuzzy and to know exactly what you're going to need. But the things that you can plan for going out, after 5 years is replacement of apparatus, right? We don't want to get ourselves into a situation like we did over the past couple of years where they hadn't been replaced for so long that all of a sudden, within a short time period, you need a couple new engines and a brush truck and a tanker, and all of a sudden everything comes in at the same time. So we kind of want to start looking at it and try and space it out a little bit. So that's why if you look at 28, 29, there's a replacement of the 2004 engine. Going out to 32, 33, there's a replacement of the rescue. And also keeping in mind that the lead time on these type of apparatus is, 3+ years. So.
Right, the challenge the town's gonna have is the firehouse and the fire equipment, the bond we're getting for that, 10 million and change, is a 20-year bond. So it's a long-term bond. So when another apparatus comes in within that window, it makes it tough for the town, especially we just had Public Works here talking about all their trucks being over 20 years old. We got some challenges that we gotta figure out, but that's just information for you guys.
And so this is really just meant to be a long-term look, just so you can see what's over the horizon. So all of a sudden, in a few years, when we start bringing it up, it's not going to be a surprise. At least it'll have been in the back of our minds, and it'll be out there. So we'll continue to list it on the CapEx, 10-year plan every year.
Yep.
Just to,
This is the template that we got last year and that we had filled out, so we just opted to
Yeah, that's fine.
continue it even though the new template was only 5 years. And the apparatus replacement follows the JLN report that was done 5 or 6 years ago where they spelled out the recommended replacement of all the apparatus in their years. We did discover in our last meeting that they had a typo in there between the 2004 engine and the rescue truck, so we had made that adjustment based off of their years and put it in this document.
Yeah, this is fine. This works.
I think it's worth noting, maybe as you guys look at this, right, how do you tackle these types of expenditures? There are other towns that approach it in a fashion where they establish a fund that gets funded additional, like $100,000, $200,000 a year, and then they know that in 7 years, whatever it is, depending on the truck, they can pull from that, and they keep replenishing it, right? Because we actually look out to almost 20 years. So that's recommended in the NFPA standard to have trucks on a 20-year cycle or 20-year plan. They look at 15 to 25 years as the optimal lifespan. depending on how often it's used and when it gets retired. So we're following national standards, but it enables us to inform you what that cycle looks like for each piece of apparatus. So when each one comes due, those towns have had great success in just ordering it, and they know it's coming, they know it needs to happen. There's not a lot of debate there, and the majority of the funding is already available. So
Well, from
I
a-
just put it out there,
No.
and we can let you know some of the towns that we're aware of that do that, but it has been successful for them.
I mean, from a planning perspective and from a reduction of interest expense, for instance, it's a good thing to do. On the flip side, every $100,000 increase comes from the taxpayers. That's the challenge. And with the reappraisal this year, it makes it even more challenging, so.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's why we're all here,
Yeah.
so. Any questions on this capital list? Okay, I hear no questions. Thank you, gentlemen, appreciate it.
The only question I have is, based on that apparatus replacement, these are plugged in at the time that they should be replaced, at 25 years after, at 25 years old. And obviously we don't need an answer tonight, but something for you to think about is how, like Adam's saying, how do we move forward from here when it takes 3 years for these things to be built? So 3 to 4 years on some of them. So we don't want to wait until that time to approve it, because then you're adding, that truck could now be 29, 30 years old. So something, just that we plug them in the way we did. We actually talked at our last meeting about backing up 4 years. That would have taken that 2004 engine and put it in for right now. So when we're putting this together, we opted to just plug them in at the 25 years. And then have this discussion with you folks to see, moving forward, how would we present that? Where should that get put in there? So something to think about.
Yeah, I'm just kind of, I'll talk out loud what I'm thinking. I mean, this year is obviously a tough year to talk about that, but let's say in the future, if it takes 3 years, I would think you can approve something 3 years in advance in anticipation of it, and then maybe talk about putting that $100,000 a year. I mean, we could talk about a process like that. It may make sense, but probably not this year.
No, understood. I just wanted to get it out there.
That's just my opinion, for what it's worth. Thanks.
I can do the fire marshal budget real quick too, it's a lot simpler.
Yeah, let's flip over to that and get that done. Fire marshal. Anyone need a copy of that?
I do.
Okay, Adam.
So obviously I don't request the salary, that just gets set, which is fine. The only two asks here, deputy fire marshal salary. So as I've gotten more and more involved in the position and in the town, my time gets taken up more and more. And I brought Rich on a few years ago, and we've been slowly trying to build up his salary, which we're using it all every year. But it's at a point where I need more time from him to be able to keep up with the inspection process that's put on us from the state. There have been some changes at the state level relative to tracking inspections and such. And he's been a really good addition, available when I'm not around.
It's Rich
Rich Smith.
Smith.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm looking to get him to 8,000. Currently he's at, what is it, 3625 or whatever, 3605. So what I'm proposing.
Like an hourly, I'm sorry, I was just asking
That's
about
okay.
an hourly position.
Yep.
Okay.
It's basically, that's what we would like to just push it to, is that we would get a sort of a salary check out to him, just to simplify it. It's only, at $8,000, it's only funding him for about 4 hours a week. And that's at sort of a similar rate to what I'm at, so, which it should be. But basically, and I'm proposing here that I'm gonna shift some of the fire marshal duties over, just to enable me to do more with my day-to-day activities. So I'm okay with moving a little bit of the fire marshal salary to that line and then asking for an additional, it would either be 2,500 or the the 1,800 and change, just to get us to the 18,000. Paul and I can work that out. But my goal is to get him to 8,000 for the start of 26, 27, in that budget cycle. And again, the main driver there is to continue to meet our requirements for the inspection schedules. And then I did a slight bump on the auto expense, again, recognizing that we use our personal vehicles for everything we do, for going out around town, for doing our inspections. It sits idle for hours while we're doing fire investigations if it's cold out. So again, reimbursement for fuel and just some basic wear and tear. Still a bargain, considering there's a lot of towns that have vehicles that are issued to their fire marshals and deputy fire marshals. And then everything else stayed flat, so.
All right, great, thank you, Adam. Any questions for Adam?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So do you, as firemen and fire marshal, you guys don't go into the town garage to fill up your cars or trucks or anything?
I have my town issued vehicle, I do, yes.
Yeah, but
We
fire
get
marshal-
one, so fire marshal I do not, and then as chiefs, we get one tank a month, basically,
Oh,
is what's allotted. But we also have the card too, so it's either town garage is an option or using the card.
gotcha. So do you think that would be something that the fire marshal should also get, like a tank a month or something? Would that, or are you,
I would be against it, but yeah.
I mean, are you out as a fire, in your role as the fire department?
Mhm.
Or in your role as fire marshal, or is,
Sometimes it's the same, obviously the crossover, but oftentimes doing inspections and meetings and follow-up and all that. It's my personal vehicle all the time, so.
okay, maybe that's something we can look into.
Okay. Any other questions for Adam? Anything else you gentlemen would like to say? No? Okay, good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. On to our next agenda item.
Want to work like 15 or 20 hours plus the So just, I'm sorry, I asked a question about the clerical.
Yeah, so there, obviously there are two very different roles, right? One of them, you really need to learn more fire operations to understand the forms and how to fill them out. And one of them is kind of like the young lady who's doing right here, taking minutes at the meeting. They could be the same person, but they don't have to be. They could be, but it's just not necessary. There are different skill sets and different expertise. But if you find the right person and you can combine them, that would be okay.
So you think the clerical person would only be working days to help, or could they work evenings or whatever hours they want to work to get all your forms done and everything, or?
There would have to be some time when, you know, at least myself, or at least the chief and deputy chief could be with that person to go over kind of what's needed, so. I think the majority of the work could probably be done during the day. We would need, you know, like an evening to come by and go over some of the stuff with us, because we're working during the day, so.
Right, just thinking if somebody has a full-time job, then maybe it's not going to be a good fit for them to do, like this as a
I think
part-time.
we have some flexibility there that we can.
Yeah, I
work with
mean,
that.
they could get a key to the firehouse, you know, we could figure all that out so they could access the firehouse systems. You know, the online management system is virtual, so you can access it anywhere. So I'd say there's definitely flexibility there depending on the candidate.
A mixture of days, evenings,
Yeah, the
weekends.
fire commission meeting is one evening.
Yeah.
Whether or not we need them for other fire department meeting or something like that, you know, so there could be an evening, there's at least one evening a month. Maybe two, but that would probably be the extent of it where it was required. Otherwise, I think there's good flexibility there.
Okay, good to know, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we good? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, next on the agenda is an update on WPCA financial support. Paula?
I'm sorry.
WPCA financial support.
Oh, yes. Good news, we had our new person. Her name is Tamaya. She started today. We got her through AR Mazada. She seems ready, very eager to be with us. She's excited to work with us, so we're happy about that. already got her on the software, the old and the new, so that she can start working on things. And the most important is I did reach out to Scott and Nick and Pete a while ago, just so that, meet with them, find out exactly what it is that they're looking for to make sure we're meeting what they need. I have not heard back. I'm imagining Nick was on vacation, is that correct? Or no, Scott was on vacation. So that could very well be why I haven't heard back about scheduling a meeting for that. But very excited to have her on board and get her up and running. It'll take a little while for training. It's all new, but that's okay. I think it'll work out well.
Good. I'm looking forward to getting caught up, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. Very much looking forward to it.
And on the topic of caught up, the next agenda item is an update on 24-25 year-end budget financials and audit.
Okay. I did not get an answer yet from the auditors, the date that they're starting. I have a feeling we're going to be doing one more extension into March. Because this is already the 24th, so.
As far as the 24-25, so there's the
For
audit.
24-25,
There's
yes.
the audit, and then there's the catch-up work to make sure that the books are clean.
Right.
Where are we with that?
Still running behind. Yep. Having it take this long to get help.
Yeah. So the intent is, because that has to be cleaned before the auditors start, or no?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not gonna all be clean. They're gonna come into a lot of work that they had to do like they did last year. Hopefully not as much, but I'm putting a lot in, so it shouldn't be as much as last year, but it's definitely not
Where it needs to be?
clean where it needs to be, no.
Okay. All right.
I focus more on making sure this year is running and doing exactly how it's supposed to be. And do the backup work as I can. And I've been putting in a lot of hours to try to do
Well,
that.
that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, good. So, all right, so we'll know, once the auditors let us know, start date March, but when you say push out the date, you're
Oh,
saying push out the
meaning-
start date or push out the?
Meaning, yes, the start date for them to start. So we always have to make sure and report to the state when our audit is going to be. And so we've had to put an extension out and we have to report again, there'll be another extension. So that's what I mean. So it won't start, it could start the end of February, but they won't finish until March at some point. So-
Okay, so the extension is when it's finished, the anticipated
Right.
completion time.
Right.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, because the big question mark for me is, what's our reserves at the end of 24-25?
I know.
Is that the proper term, reserves? That's
Yeah,
what I use
what's
for.
gonna be put into the fund balance,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, so, all right, I'm eager to know that, because we need to know that going into the, budget process, so. All right, any questions for Paula on either topic?
No,
All
I
right.
do want to, as you noticed, Paula works almost every weekend. She's here till 9 o'clock most
Yeah,
nights. And
yeah.
and I am too, I guess, that's why.
Oh, yeah.
But then I'm always like, go home, I'm leaving, and she's
Yeah.
still upstairs.
I've been here a couple of long nights and so, what's Paul still doing there?
Exactly.
Yeah, so good, well, we do appreciate it. And hopefully with this new person and
Right,
get caught
yeah.
up and get stabilized.
That's what I'm hoping.
Okay, next item is review of, next item is update timing of the, no. I thought I had a budget item on here. I don't. So that'll fall under other business. Okay, so the next item is review of full year 25-26 budget. And I have a proposal on this, if you guys are okay with it. We just got this, 10 minutes before the meeting. I haven't had a chance to look at it. Typically, Paula and I and Carol will sit down for a couple hours and go through it in detail. Because of the snowstorm, we weren't able to do that. So I'd still like to do that. It would speed up the process if I had a chance to sit with Paula and then we reviewed this as an agenda item at our special meeting, budget meeting on March 3rd. So the question for you guys, we could do it now live. It'll take longer. I don't have a problem doing that. Or we can wait until the budget, special budget meeting on March 3rd, and I'll have some be able to, move faster through it. It's up to you guys. So, any,
I'm fine waiting.
I'm fine, Wayne. Is the correct or the up-to-date pension numbers in this?
No, that's being calculated.
That's being calculated now as we speak? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And it won't actually show up until the end of the year when we go to pay it.
End
But
of the
I can
fiscal
at
year?
least get, yes, but I can at least get the number of what we're expecting.
Okay, yeah, because last time we were at 1 point something short.
so I know we need a motion to add a line item. I guess we could have a motion and vote to move this to March 3rd, just to make it official, if someone can give me a motion.
I make a motion, we move it till March 3rd.
I'll second.
All right, and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no one opposed? All right, we'll move to March 3rd. Perfect, thank you. And other business, I do have one other business, but anyone else have anything under the other business category? So I sent out this schedule in email on an analysis of the reappraisal of the properties in town and the shift from commercial to residential and the impact of that shift. So I think it'd be worth going through it in detail. I have copies here if anybody needs a copy. You got
Is that one?
And it's the latest one I sent out, so make sure it's the one that has sewer bond payment on the bottom too. Make sure we have the latest. All right, so this is worth going through in detail to understand, so I'll go slow and ask questions. And I also, I reviewed this with Robin. I wanted another set of eyes, so Robin, our assessor, she reviewed it with me beginning of, or the end of last week, and she agreed with the analysis, so I'm happy she had time to look at it. So if you look at the very top line, that's our 2024 grand list. It's actually a 2021 grand list, 21, 22, 23, and 24. And it's broken down, and you can see the top headers by residential, commercial, industrial, public utility, vacant land, apartments, and then total. There are some smaller categories that I'm not showing here for simplicity. So there are a few more categories hidden that are small dollars. I just wanted to keep it easy to format. The second line is percentage of total. So what that is of the total grand list in 2024 of 561 million, residential was 406 million, which was 72% of the total grand list. If you move all the way down to the 2025 grand list, you'll see residential is 644 million, and the total grand list is 805,778. So the percentage of the total grand list for residential is 80%. So it went from 72% to 80%. So that shifts some of the grand list, 8% of the grand list to residential, which has an impact on when you apply the mill rate. So before I move to that bottom box that gives the answer, does anyone have any questions on, just how it's calculated and what I'm showing in this top section?
My only question, Tim, is on the top here, the first one you had 72% and then 7%. And then the next one, the 2025, you have 80 and 5. So 72 and 7 is 79%, and 80 and 5 is 85%. Am I missing something? I'm not going.
All the other categories, when you go across,
Make up the difference.
72, 7, 3, 0, 1, 6, 8. And then there's a few smaller categories that I just wanted to simplify, but there's a couple other smaller categories that are like 0.5 or 0.2%. But they all add up to 100%. So
Okay, I see now.
yeah.
This is because there's a
Yep.
gap right there.
Yep, I see now.
Yeah. So an example is, let's see, industrial, for instance, the next one, it's 3% in the 24 grand list, and it went down to 2%.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions on the details? Okay. So if you go to the bottom box on the left, I show the analysis, and I show in 2024, our average assessed house was $198,000, and our average tax bill was $6,346. It's average. In 2025 grand list, the average assessed house is now $325,000, which if we kept the mill rate the same for this analysis, the tax would have been $7,252. So a $906 increase or shift to residential houses. And that's before we talk about any kind of budget increase. And then going down, now on the flip side, because the mill rate will be lower, motor vehicles, you get a favorable variance for motor vehicles. The average assessed value of a motor vehicle is $11,700. I assumed 2 cars per house in this analysis, so there would be a reduction or a savings of $227. $227. So that's reduction of the 906. Then I put down the firehouse impact, and that's a 20-year bond of $348 per household. And then we're paying off the sewer bond, so that's favorable of $68. So when you add all those up, the change for an average household due to all these things is $959. And that's before any increases to the budget. So that's our starting point because of the assessments, because of the firehouse impact, the sewer bond payoff, and the motor vehicle assessments.
Which leads to my next question. On your first one you sent out, it didn't have the sewer bond on it. But the firehouse charge was $280.
Yeah.
And then the second one, we're subtract $68 for the sewer bond, but the firehouse went up to $348. So why did it swing $68?
Because and that's why I did it, I had both of them on the same line. You see, when I did my analysis, I looked at bonds, and I said the firehouse bond's going up, the sewer bond's going away, and I combined the two on one line item and called it firehouse, and I said I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it saying, why did it increase $68?
It made the firehouse more favorable when it shouldn't have, because it was really the sewer bond that was driving it. So that's why I separated the two, so I would show that impact. And my earlier draft from like a month ago, I had the firehouse a little higher, and that was, I had done the analysis, and I thought I had assessed values, I had appraised values, and we caught that when Robin and I sat down. So now this is pretty, any question, if you see something, please ask. I think it's pretty tight, and I think this is our starting point, so it's important to know that. Okay. Any questions? Yeah, it's kind of, it's reality, but.
Startling.
Yeah. So I'll qualify this is my first analysis on a grand list appraisal in my life, so I'll qualify that. Robin did look at it, she says it's good, but you never know. But we'll keep on looking, make sure I don't have any hacks in this thing. Okay. All right. Any other business? I hear none, so let's have a adjournment.
Motion to
Motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any against? No? All right, that's the end of our meeting. 8:09.